Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Lily's right in my face with her hands dancing around. Here's a phrase, folks, that you don't hear a lot. Oh, I've got a Hitler. You don't hear that often enough in life. When you're talking to somebody and you're like, first of all, here's something you really don't hear. We need a Hitler. That's never come up. But then I can tell you the response to that is never, oh, I've got a Hitler. Lily and I are sitting here talking, and that exchange just happened. Oh, you need a Hitler. Oh, I've got a Hitler. Wow, I'm excited for that. All right. I'm excited for the need of a Hitler, and I'm more excited for the fact that someone's got a Hitler on deck. At all times, Lily Von Stoop has a Hitler on call. So just if you guys, for all of your Hitler needs, go ahead and contact Lily at Lili at burlesque411.com and put in the header Hitler, because I'm sure that will not raise any flags at all with your or her email companies. Are there email companies? I don't know, email providers or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Could be a company. There's no company that it just produces email. What if there was? That was like, I guess there are spammers. They're companies that produce email, right? Okay. Oh, I got a Hitler. The casual confidence is what threw me. You know what I mean? There wasn't any scheming or any sort of second thought behind it. There was no, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. No. Oh, I got a Hitler. Listen, that's the least of our problems at this point for this entire operation. Everything else is in play. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not sure from top to bottom how the rest of this is going to work, but rock solid, bottom of the pyramid base, I can tell you this. If we've got nothing else, we've got a Hitler. That was great. All right. I'll explain in the coming weeks what that meant. Hi. All right. Well, good. Good to be here, everybody. Thank you. It's exciting. It's 6:27 p.m., I'd like to tell you. And by the way, get used to hearing that during the show. There will be plenty of repeating because I listened to last week's show. Here's the thing, folks. When there's a nighttime record, and I don't you heard it last week, I didn't walk out here till like 12:45 a.m. And then when I leave, poor Lily has to go through the show and then edit it and put together, because there's stops and starts. I'm not going to lie to you folks. I wish I was a one-take Jake. I wish I went from top to bottom on this thing and nailed it, but I'm the only fucking guy talking. So sometimes I got to breathe, and when I breathe, sometimes there's a break, and that's how that works. So Lily puts the show together, and then here's the thing. Here's the trick of it, folks. This is what makes the show magical. This is what makes it brilliant. None of those things are true, and the show is none of those things. But here's a little peek behind the curtain at the great and powerful Lily. She has to edit the show. All right, she sits here through the nonsense once. Then she has to edit it. She has to go through and cut and chop and move whatever she's got to move, and pick up the starts and stops and edit the breaths. And like I said, when I leave, I tell her, make it funny, and she does. Every week she does. She tries. Some weeks more so than others, but and then here's the thing: as you folks who are sound editors know, or editors, or who've ever put together any sort of project, you can edit it, and once you're finished with it, you then have to listen to it back to make sure that you did it right. So then imagine, or you hear the show once and you sit down and you mop your brow and you go, whew, that was quite a roller coaster we had with young Mike. And then you erase it, never to hear it again, until you, of course, purchase the Year 3 download set years from now. But poor Lily has to listen to me do it live, and then has to edit it, and then has to listen to the finished cut, the final cut, the Pink Floyd final cut. Not now, John, we've got to get on with this. All right, I'm sorry, it's these. I didn't want to say that. All right. Because, you know the song, Not Now, John? Not Now, John, we got to get on with these. Got to get away from the wily Japanese. That's right, Pink fucking Floyd. By the way, folks, if I do nothing else this year, nothing at all, because I have no money and I can't go do anything. I can't even see a fucking movie. Like Karen and I are, the wolves are at the door and we're pinching pennies so much that we're bruising Abe Lincoln's neck. I mean, like, we are doing everything we can to try to make as much money and pay every bill that we've accrued. And, we're up to date. Everything's fine. But the I can tell you the salt water's above my lips, and but it's still under my nose. So I can still breathe through my nose. But if I do nothing else this year, if my swan song of disposable income will be seeing Roger Waters do the Wall here in Los Angeles, because I have to fucking do it. How do I not see the Wall? God damn it! Wait a minute. Before I get into Roger Waters, what was I talking about with before I get into the wily Japanese? I'm going to mention all of the Axis powers this entire. Wait till I get into Italy. I got Mussolini talk coming your way, folks. Oh, yeah. So Lily has to listen to the whole deal. She got to do Final Cut. That's what it was. That's where I came from. So she's got to listen to the whole thing. Well, last week, by the time I got out of here, 12:45, she got to edit the show. She got to listen to it again. She calls me to tell me it's ready to go up at like 3:30 in the morning. Well, she's nodding off into her breasts. I mean, like she's, literally, like, how you ever have your chin in your hands and you're like, oh, man, I'm sad. Well, she has her breasts in her hands with her chin resting on top of that as she sits there and listens to the show. And sometimes, occasionally, folks, an entire segment of the show that repeats something from earlier in the show will sneak past. It happens. It just happens. And it's so funny. I was alerted to this last week. Remind me, I got to come back to whatever I was talking about. I don't want to get lost. I'm always, what the fuck? I always get lost. No, Max told me last week, he goes, you're not going to be happy. I'm like, what? And he goes, there was a whole, like, repeated segment. And I go, because I have to, what I'll do is I'll say something and I'll stop. And then what I do, folks, is I will say the last thing that I had just said to try to get back into what I was talking about. So it's like a little ramp up. And Lily knows to cut them and put them together. But sometimes, what happens? Here's what, again, when it happens at 3 fucking in the morning and it's my fault. Because if I didn't watch the Blackhawks last week, we recorded at the normal time. So again, I can't get angry about it. It's my fault. I'm the one who screwed it up. If it's not my fault and I'm not the one who screwed it, then there's a chat. Then I put a little bass in my voice and I say, Lily, look, no offense, you better get your Hitler in here because we got to have a talk. And she's like, it's that serious? I go, you're goddamn right, it's that serious. So that happened last week. So maybe it'll happen this week. So if you hear me say something over and over, folks, it's because please know that I repeat myself. And it's so funny. Oh, that's your bad knee. I was going to hit you in the knee. There was a thing last week where I even said, hey, folks, you know what? I repeat myself. And if I repeat, it's late. So if I repeat myself, let's not worry about it. And then sure enough, there's this huge chunk of repeating. But it comes before me saying if I repeat myself, then let's not worry about it. So I guess it's invalidating that particular statement because I'd already repeated myself. I should have, I should just open every show with a, hey, what's happening, folks? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. If I repeat myself, let's not worry about it. All right, so I've got a Hitler. Anyway, so what was I going to double back into?
You were talking about me and moving forward and then talking about me again.
Right, but then I said something else, and I said, don't let me forget about that because I had to come back to it. Oh, fuck, get Roger Waters. So that's the thing. The bottom line is any disposable income I have this year, the only frivolous purchase I will make this year is a ticket. And again, one ticket, because I told Karen, I go, look, we can't both go. I mean, as much as I'd love for her to go, it's just, again, cash-wise and all that stuff. I'm like, well, to see the Wall, I think on the floor they're like $155. That's the thing. You can't. There's no cheap concerts anymore. You can't go see anybody. I feel bad for act. Like I'm charging. It's $15 to come see me in San Francisco, and I'm praying to God we sell all the tickets over 2 days because nobody knows the fuck I am. So now you know who I am? I'm like an indie band of comedy where I'm like praying that there's some sort of weird word of mouth that people come to see me. Like I see all these bands on like Imogene Heap and Erykah Badu, and they're on the road, and now they're offering half price tickets, and they're starting to comp, and it's because, man, Ticketmaster and Live Nation, they fuck you so hard with the fees. That's the thing is I went to Roger Waters tickets went on sale, and I went to look at them, and even the $75 tickets, by the time you were done, they were like $114. There's like $40 for the fees. Jesus, are you fucking kidding me? So it just, and again, when I was making dough, who cares? And when you're making money, you don't even think about it. Like I don't think about it at all. When I have money, I just spend it. Like Karen and I would go to dinner and a movie. You know what I mean? And by the end of the night, you don't realize you spent $110. Because for us, it's like $35 to get in and see a movie, and then it's there's popcorn involved. That's another $35. That seems high. And then dinner, and and it's so funny. Because I don't have to pay for a sitter or anything. Like I can't even imagine what it would be like to have kids. You couldn't do anything. And first of all, let's face it, you should have thought about that before you fucked. All right, so. I think we all know that. Look, if you're going to sit here and bitch to me about your babysitter and the money you got to cough up, maybe you should have thought about that before you were fucking banging your brains out. Hey, you know what? Buy a condom. What's that, $6? And you wouldn't have to pay for a sitter, goddammit. That's a $6 sitter. That's what a condom is. It's a $6 fucking babysitter. Bang, done. All right. So but again, if I was, I couldn't even imagine being. That's why they invented Blu-ray and big screen TVs and all this kind of shit. Is because those people can't leave their goddamn house. You know, these people have to eat hamburger helper and watch cable, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I did as a kid. All right. Stupid. Because we were poor. We had like a single parent household, and then five boys. Oh my God, what a mess. 5 boys. What's wrong with my mom? I can't believe she's alive. All right. Seriously. Yeah, so Roger Waters. So I want to see that. Yeah, and it's funny. You know who I would go see Roger Waters with is my brother. Did I ever tell this story on here? Did now that I talk about my brothers and my mom, why she's alive? All right. Um, my little brother Glenn is a good guy now. All right. Growing up, there were things that happened, and we all did that. Again, and it's so funny because Glenn's a dad. Speaking of sitters and all that kind of shit, Glenn's got 4 kids. You know what I mean? It's like he and his wife, they have a nice house and all that, but at the same time, they have to do that family thing. So, like that weird thing of it's been open all day.
Sorry.
It's been open all day.
I didn't realize.
That's fine. I didn't say anything, but that's fine. Lily she's wearing like men's boxer shorts, and men's boxer shorts have a little hidey hole, a little house. My wife calls it the house. It has a little house in front. Well, Lily's the gate's been open to her house. Let's put it that way, and it's been open all day. But I'm so used to it. There's no reason for me to say anything. Christ, the other day I walked in on her, and she's Lily, Karen and I walk in together, and Lily has no top on. She just had pasties on. And she's talking to us as if everything's fine, and she's naked, like literally naked in this room. She's wearing a g-string and pasties. That's it, and she's just talking about whatever, and the calendar and the time and blah blah. And then she puts her bra on, okay. And as she's putting her bra on, because there's something, let's be honest, there's something cool about watching a woman put her bra on because they have to corral their boobs, and especially Lily, because she's got to get a whole posse out to corral her boobs. She's got to get, the whole Clint Eastwood, Rowdy Yates, fucking, literally you hear Rawhide playing because she's like, yeah. She's got to grab her boobs and harness them and put them into it's like putting away Jello. I mean, let's be honest. It's like, folks, if you had to pick up a Jello mold with your hands and put it into a bowl, that's what Lily has to do with her boobs. They're like what 44 double D's. So she's got to grab them and put, because they're trying to escape. They're running around. They're running around the back of her, and she's like, whoa, hold on a second there, fellas. And they're like, you can actually hear them whimpering, like puppies, like, and she's like, yeah, hold on, yeah. And she's got to corral them and actually put them into her bra. So we all love watching women. Because I watch Karen do it. I'm fascinated by it. Again, men are fascinated by it. Okay, just like women are fascinated by balls or stuff like that. Or they'll grab your cock and oh look he's gone away, now he's there, now he's gone, now he's there. Like when you're that kind of thing where they're playing hide and go seek with your fucking cock. Does that ever happen to anybody? It's whatever. So it happens. But that's what I'm saying is women, when you don't have that equipment, you're fascinated with how it works, and not only how it works, but its maintenance. You're trying to figure out. It's like when Karen. She's even said, like, Jesus, how can you run? You know what I mean? Like that kind of deal. And it's the same thing with breasts. You're like, Jesus, how can you lay down on your back? That would be so, or even on your stomach. How could you lay down at all? I would sleep standing up in a coffin like fucking Chicago's Svengoolie. All right. So we walk in this room and Lily's she's just, again, naked, basically. She's just wearing a G-string and she's trying to harness her boobs. And she actually had a whistle. She actually had to put her fingers in her mouth and go like, like that whistle that I can't do. And then she actually had to clang a triangle, like calling them to dinner. And then they had to go ahead and harness themselves into her boobs. All right, so she had to grab them and put them in the bra. So as she's doing that, that's fine. She's grabbing her tits and she's putting them away. And Karen and I are standing there trying to talk to her and have a normal conversation. And then she reaches in and pulls her pasties off while she's got her bra on, thinking, I guess, that we couldn't see her nipples. I guess that's what she was thinking. But nope, we could see them. I mean... You essentially just went, all she did was she put a gauzy film over her boobs and then took her pasties off. And I went, okay, now you're naked. Now you're not, even the thin layer of fabric that kept this as a normal conversation, sort of normal, barely normal went out the fucking window when Lily immediately just went, hey, there's my nipples. How you guys doing? And I went, okay, well... Because, again, I love Lily. She's kind of like my sister, but she's also kind of like your sister you'd want to bang. Like, I mean, if my sister's tits were out, I'd stare at them. I've got to be truly honest with you. If that was going on, I would stare. If my sister had her tits out, whether I want to fuck her or not, I'd still go, well, those are tits. I just wouldn't look above the neck. I would forget what they were attached to. I would just be like, wow, those are tits right there. I don't know whose they are, but they're great. Oh, look up there. That's my sister. God damn it. Why did she have to bring her breasts to the party? So that's what I'm saying with Lily. It's like, I see her naked, and I'm just, granted she's still my friend and everything's great, and but at the same time, it doesn't help matters. It's you still wind up going, oh wow, I'm gonna try not to fucking. All right, but yeah, she's just like, here's my nipples. It's like one time, again, you see naked chicks, and this happened one time when I was living with all my brothers. When I say living with all my brothers, I'm not kidding you. It was me and three of my brothers in a one-bedroom apartment. This is when I moved back to Chicago from California. This is in '93, this is before I met Karen, and we were living. And it was. I'll tell you what, though, it was fucking awesome. All right, except for the fact that two of my brothers smoked as if they were curing hams in the apartment. The rest of it was great. We had a great time, and because we would play Sega all night and listen to fucking Pearl Jam and just and Jellyfish, and I mean, it was the greatest. Because again, I was '93, so I'm 26 at that point, and I would shoot hoop on the weekend with at the Mex Dome. I mean, it was that thing. It was like I was still a teenager, even though like I am now, I guess. Whatever. All right, so one time I come home from work, and we all again, it's me, my brother Scott, my brother Andy, and at first it was my brother Lenny. He was living there. And then he wound up moving, and then because, many different reasons, but he wound up moving, and then my brother Glenn moved in. But anyway, it's me and Andy and Scott are living there at the time, and I think Lenny. I come in, and there's nobody there. I'm in the house, and I walk in, and it's a one bedroom, so it's like there's not really anywhere you can go. So I go walking, and I go in the bedroom, and Scott's girlfriend is on the bed sleeping, completely naked, completely and I'm talking like she was apparently. She was stretched out like a starfish. I mean, like I walked in and she was flat back on the bed with like legs and arms akimbo. I am face to face with Baby House. I mean, I am like right there. And face to face probably doesn't make any sense. I'm face to Baby House. Let's put it that way. I am, and I mean she's an attractive girl. And unfortunately, I've spent many nights sleeping on the futon in the living room, listening to her get banged mercilessly by my brother. So, I have to be honest. Again, it's taboo, it's off limits, and it's like I'm not even attracted to her because she's my brother's girlfriend. I just know her, and that's fine. She works at the pizza place, whatever. I know who she is. She's a nice girl, but when you walk in and there's a hot girl on completely naked with basically her legs spread, I mean, it's all you can do to keep yourself off your knees. You know what I mean? I mean, because you're just like, wow, I wonder if I could. I mean, it's just a male urge. It's just right from the fucking ball sack where you're just like, wow, I could tear this up, and you don't, because part of you is like, why I don't need to tear it up. I guess I could probably just work up from one ankle and down to the next. I mean, and would she notice? I'd hope she'd notice if I'm any good at this. God damn it. Should I even get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. All that's flashing through your head because you walk in and you're just like, wow, she's naked and hot. And, oh, there's her, wow, Baby House. And, man, her tits are even better than I thought they would be. And, boy, she's made a lot of noise in this room. I wonder if I could make her make the same noises. Get out of here. What are you doing, stupid? But now I'm standing there looking, because now I'm looking at her, and now it's creepy because if she wakes up, I'm fucking dead. I'm going to jail. No, I'm like I'm 7 digits away from being a rape call. I mean, because imagine that, she's naked and laying down. It's bad enough. Although let's face it, if she's gonna fuck my brother in a house with 4 other guys in it, I don't think she's that concerned with appearances. Especially noisily. Like, I mean, it's like, because, I mean, I've fucked people in houses where there's other people, but you're also kind of looking at each other like, stifling giggles, like, boy, I hope nobody walks in, and then you're putting pillows over people's faces when they're starting to make noise. You know what I mean? It's like, let's keep it down a little bit here. But, like, she didn't even care. She was just fucking, Kim Cattrall from Porky's just wailing. And I'm in a futon in the next room just going, wow, that sounds fun. Like, I wonder if, I could join in there somehow. She wouldn't know, would she? Just those weird fucking thoughts. So, but now I'm in the room. Now I'm a foot away from her. She's completely naked, and I'm looking right up into her single car garage, thinking I should park there. But then at the same time, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. But then I'm like, oh, dude, don't move too fast because if you wake her up and she's gonna realize you're in the goddamn room staring at her, how horrible is that if she comes to in the dark and looks through and you just see like the shape like Michael Myers is at the foot of the bed, just staring at your speed bag. Get the fuck out of there, dude. So I had to gracefully back out of the room. So I'm like, just quietly praying she didn't wake up and then closing the door. And then, then hopping in the shower and furiously jerking off. Take, again, it might be awful to jerk off to your girlfriend or your brother's girlfriend, but I'm sorry. At that point, in the dark, she's just a naked. I couldn't see her face, and he wasn't there to lay claim to her. So it's like, you know what? She was like a cattle that had gotten away from the herd. Like, and she might have a brand on her, and you might recognize that brand, but it doesn't matter. She's away from the herd, so go ahead and turn her into steak. You can do that, right? So that's I was trying to be like that guy who was like, so I went in and fucking completely just, oh man, it was, and again, yes, I recognize the horribleness of you live in an apartment with three other guys and you're jerking off in the shower. That's why you have to make sure you clean the shower afterwards, and also we have pretty good aim. I mean, that's the thing. I will tell you that about our equipment, okay? Ladies, you might have to corral in your boobs and they're running all over the place, but men, we've got good aim. I mean, we get, I can go right down the drain if I want. It's not like I'm going off, like like a goddamn paint pellet after somebody robs a bank. You know what I mean? I'm not. That thing is just going to explode and there's like a shitload of. I'm not Jackson Pollocking the entire fucking shower. It's like no, I've got a target to shoot for. So it's like you just you work it and you keep your eyes closed and then you turn around real quick and then there you go. You send your baby on his way. Send a drain baby off. All right, that's right, a drain baby. So how did I get into that? So because that's like when I see Lily naked, it's like she's Lily and she's my friend and all that, but at the same time you're like, wow, I shouldn't I be trying to tag her? I mean, I should, right? Even my wife's a foot away. Even I'm sure even Karen's thinking, should I tag her? I mean, she's naked. We were in the back room of a bar naked. Look, I've been in the back room of a bar with a naked chick before, and I didn't have to hold my tongue, if you know what I'm talking about. All right. So how did I get into that? So yeah, when I lived with my brother, I walked in on her. Oh man, that was crazy. All right, so but you, as a guy, you can't, I mean, there's a thin line keeping you civilized. I mean, we all. All right. So yeah, so I'm gonna see Roger Waters. There you go. I'd see him. Because it's funny, there was my brother Glenn would go see it, and again, like I said, now he's a responsible young man, and he's got his 4 kids and his wife, and everything's great. But at one time, Glenn was I've mentioned Glenn with the big bag of porn. I swear to God, I told this story. If I've told this story, we're going to cut it all out. Okay?
Okay.
Just letting you know. So you tell me if you know this. My brother Glenn, he enjoyed recreational substances as a youth. So I think I mentioned that he did acid one time and forgot who he was. He used to hang out with his boys, and they would do a bunch of stuff, and they get high. One night he did acid and forgot who he was, so his friends had to keep him awake and constantly say to him, "Your name is Glenn Schmidt. You live at da da da," and say his address, and say his phone number, and say his brother, like his family's name, and then over and over. And Glenn told me, he goes, I stared at the clock for 6 hours. He watched the clock for 6 hours while they talked to him, and he repeated what they said, and to come back to who he was, so he didn't lose who he was, I guess. So again, like I said, if anybody has any acid out there, I would really like to get involved. But Glenn, as a kid, man, he had and look, I take ownership for this because we bullied the shit out of Glenn. I mean, we were shitty to Glenn. We were not good brothers. We weren't. My brother Lenny and I, because Glenn was the middle kid of 5. All right, so he wasn't old enough to be with my brother Lenny and I, and he always got lumped in with my other 2 younger brothers, even though he was 3 years younger than me, and he was a year older and 2 years older than my little brothers. So they were always the little guys. Lenny and I were always like, oh, we're the little guys. We're the little guys. Well, that's because we had to watch them. Unfortunately, my mom was working, so we had to watch the little guys. But we were fucking horrible to Glenn. Like because he didn't like sports. I mean, it was like again, I've talked about this on here where like his main crime was he wasn't like us and he was the middle kid. So I mean, we just beat the shit out of him. We were just mean, mean. Like he would do eccentric things like to get. I told the story about the peanut butter barbecue sandwich and all that stuff, right? He one day he used to proclaim like he would just do awkward things to get noticed because you're a kid. You know what I mean? So he said one day he declared that he liked pickle juice. He, he's like, yeah, I like pickle juice. And we're like, what? And he's like, I like to drink it. And we're like, all right, then drink it. He's like, what? And we're like, drink all the pickle juice in the fridge. He's like, what? And we're like, right now. Like we made him drink all the dill pickle juice and all the regular pickle juice that was in the fridge. Like we made him do it because we're like, you don't really like pickle juice. He's like, yeah, I do. And we're like, fuck you, you don't. Like, why? What do you care? You're a stupid asshole kid. Let him say he likes pickle juice. But we made him drink it all. We're like, fine, you like it, drink it. Terrible. One day he made a sandwich and he was just making it. It was the most ludicrous sandwich. And think about that for a second. The most ludicrous sandwich in the world. Because he took 2 pieces of bread, one was wheat and one was white, and then he put peanut butter and jelly, and then he put barbecue sauce and pickles, and then he put like crunched up chips and bologna. Like he was just doing all that, and we're like, you're gonna eat that fucking sandwich. If you make that sandwich, you're gonna eat that. He goes, I like this sandwich. We're like, fine. If you make it, you're gonna fucking eat it. And he's like, fine. So I think he just kept putting layers on the sandwich, hoping we'd forget. But we're just staring at him, like it literally, like in an old '40s movie, we're just like punching our fists into our fucking flat hands, waiting for him to finish the sandwich, going, you're going to eat it. You're going to eat that fucking sandwich. And sure enough, open pit barbecue sauce and fucking, sweet pickles and peanut butter and bologna and jelly and all this stuff. He's just putting it all on the sandwich. And then, and then we made him eat it. We're like, you're eating that fucking sandwich, dude. And then we made him eat that sandwich. And I think he threw it up or whatever eventually. I don't think we made him eat all of it. But it was the thing where you're just punching him in the arm until he fucking finishes eating it. Terrible. Yes, we were awful. I'm not, absolutely. We were all. Why do you think I don't talk to any of my brothers anymore? Literally, lost another one this week. Yeah, that's. I'm down to one, folks. Yeah, I'm not. I can't. It's tough week. But this one's not my fault. I can absolutely. Trust me, I can tell you this one's not my fault. Because you know me, I'll totally accept every ounce of blame that is coming my way. Fuck, I'm owning my relationship with my fucking middle brother because I was a dick and made him eat pickle sandwiches or pickle juice or whatever the fuck. But this one, clearly, I'm off the hook on this one. And I can't go into it, but whatever. Believe me, there's enough pathos in last week's fucking show to get us through the next 4 fucking episodes. But that's part of it. Like, you know what? It's funny because this shit hit the fan with my brother a couple weeks ago when I said I had a bad week, and then I never got to it for some reason. I think I'm just consciously trying to avoid talking because if I talk about it, there's no going back on it. So whatever. So let's talk about other problems I have with everybody else. Oh, you know what? That's what this entire show is. It's a recitation of the problems I have with everybody else. That's all it is. God damn it. I need, it's what's funny is Lily has like a pad of paper and a pen and glasses. Like you should be wearing like a business skirt and sitting in a cushy chair and I should be laying on a fucking couch. That's what the show should be, for Christ's sake. I should be laying down doing this goddamn show. Yeah, and you're like Melfi. That's who you are. I'm fucking Tony. I'm going to sit here in a goddamn chair and just stare across at you and you're going to Melfi me and then I'm going to flip over your glass coffee table and fucking split.
Hi, I'm terrestrial radio kingpin Brian Noonan. Wow, that's a mouthful. You're listening to the 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. I work the road a lot with Mike, and his podcast isn't much different from his act. There's still only one person laughing. God bless you, Lily.
So a doctor is what I want to be because then you can help everybody, even kids and small kids. Okay, so that's all about being a doctor. The end.
Nice job, Alfonso. A doctor. That's a noble profession. Very nice. Okay, so who's next? And it looks like Kurt. Kurt, you are next. Kurt, come on up, and I want to hear your speech about what you want to be when you grow up. So go ahead, Kurt, and everybody pay attention.
When I grow up, I want to be a podcaster like the 40-Year-Old Boy. He has the greatest show. One time, he climbed a fire truck to help fight a fire. He is very brave. He also had to fight against an angry possum. The 40-Year-Old Boy won. His name is Mike. He goes to the movies a lot. One time, his friend sat on his lap at the movies. They left and they forgot their underpants. The 40-Year-Old Boy is Mike, and I want to be him when I grow up. The end.
Wow. Kurt. Nice. A good speech. I'll tell you what we're going to do now is we're going to hold off on any more reports. Put your hands down. Let's hold off. And we're all going to put our heads down on our desk, and we're going to take a nap. It's nap time now. Kurt, though, I'd like to ask you, is your mommy home during the day? If I were to give her a call right now, do you think your mommy would be around?
The 40-Year-Old Boy, Shaping Young Minds, on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I want to tell you folks, this segment of the show is sponsored by Mark G. and Cameron M.
Whoa.
That's right, Mark G. and Cameron M., who were gracious enough to donate to the show. So I've gone ahead and decided that they've sponsored this part. And what the hell, Keith and Spencer M. have also gone ahead and sponsored this. This segment is so weighty, I need 4 people to sponsor it. So as long as I know exactly where we're at, those 4 guys are definitely in charge. So this show, and blame Mark and Cameron and Keith and Spencer if there's anything that becomes a problem here. What was I saying? I was, you know what? It's funny. I was talking about Glenn and Iowa. That's what I was going to talk about. So Glenn. All right. One time, did I mention Iowa? Did I talk about this? Did we cut it out? Did I even say it? I don't even. I'm lost, folks. Again, because I stopped down and talked for half an hour. I'm an idiot. All right. Literally, I stopped the show to talk. How dumb is that? I stopped the show to talk for half an hour. Fucking idiot. One time when I first started dating Karen, Glenn was moving back to Chicago from Iowa, and he asked me if he could get a ride home with me. And I said, yeah, that's no problem. So I said, I'll have the girl I'm dating, so we'll go. So he gets in the car, and we're driving home from Iowa, and we had eaten before we started to leave. And as we're in the car driving, now keep in mind, Karen and I just started dating, and Glenn burps like really loud in the back seat, and like not even like excuse me or unconsciously or. And I go, dude, throttle it back there. And he goes, what? And then he burps again really loud. And I go, and I mean, I'm with the girl that I'm dating now. She's in the passenger seat, and she's like looking at me like, don't worry about it. And I look, and I go, and I'm driving. I'm doing him a favor. I'm taking him home from fucking Iowa. What are you doing? And I go, dude, what are you doing? And he goes, what? He goes, burps are compliments to the chef. And then he burps again really loud. And I go, yeah? Well, the chef isn't in the fucking car. And I wanted to pull over and just throw him out of the fucking car right there. Like, who the fuck do you think? I'm doing you a fucking favor, bringing you home. I'm in front of someone who, quite frankly, she's on the fence about me at this point. I don't need to give her any reasons to not be on board with the rest of the crazy that comes attached to me. She doesn't, right now, she's nice enough to travel with me and have sex with me at this point, but I'd like to keep her doing that. I don't need to give her a window into the crazy of my fucking family where she finally just goes, oh, man, honestly, I can't. So I go, yeah, the chef's not in the fucking car. And he's just like, well, it's not rude in France. It's like considered, I go, you're not in fucking France. And I'm trying to calm down and Karen's just like, and so I fucking just turned the radio on and stared forward. And luckily he went to sleep. So, but I wanted to murder him. Like, I don't even know why I bring that up. But then later on, it's funny, I found out kind of that, I deserve that for making him eat a pickle sandwich. Maybe he was burping from, his compliment was to himself, the chef who had to make the barbecue sandwich, pickle monster, and he had to eat it. So he was giving himself a compliment by burping in the goddamn car and getting back at me for years of abuse and horribleness. And I guess I can't blame him. Fuck it, I deserve every goddamn thing I get. And it's funny, one time, then we all lived together. It was me, him, and Andy and Scott in that same one-bedroom apartment where I came very close to sleeping with somebody who I shouldn't have. And by that, she had no idea. She had no clue. Believe me, in my brain I did, but nothing else in real life. I talked about it. So go back and listen to the beginning of the show for the funny part. And but Glenn, one time, he read a story that he wrote, like out loud. Like he was like, oh, yeah, because remember the Glenn is a creative guy. We all have that in my family. And he's reading this story, and as I'm hearing it, this story... It's a story about, like, it's kind of like a dream interpretation story, but then it becomes something else different. And as I'm listening to the story, I'm going, this story's about me. This story's about me and my brother and my dad. And I mean, it's like, as he's telling it, I don't think he realizes how much of himself he was exposing in this story, but it made me go, wow. I mean, because at the time, like I said, I was 26, he's 23 or 24 at the time, and I went, wow, he still hasn't dealt with this. I mean, he hasn't, and we still haven't. Again, I'm 42. I still haven't dealt with it. For a while, I couldn't even talk about my dad without crying. Like, I literally could not talk about and to this day, I see movies with dad things in it, and I fucking, it's all I can do to stop myself from fucking sobbing. It's terrible. It's stupid. It makes no sense, but it's in you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And, I finally, when I finally stopped doing that was when I talked to my mom once. I don't know if did I talk about this? I went through a period of time, like I said, I literally could not talk about my father without crying and about him having died and blah, blah, blah. And then finally I saw my mom. This is a good, 15 years after he had died. And I was sitting with my mom in a car in our driveway. And I said, I got to talk to you about something. And I said, was Dad a monster? Like, was he like a bad person? And she said, yeah, he was. I said, okay. I said, I just need to kind of to know. Because, I knew. There was, when I was a little kid, why am I veering into this fucking territory? It's so stupid. There was, my dad was a horrible, horrible guy. Man, he was just, from the times I can remember, there was, one of my earliest, when we were little kids, I was 8 maybe, and we were in the house, and he was beating up my mom. Like, he was wailing on her, and we're grabbing him. We're like trying to stop him, because we didn't know what to do. Again, we're kids. And I fucking remember it. Me and Lenny ran. We ran out of the house like crazy. When I think about it now, it must have looked insane, but it's like we were like chickens, just like, and we go running outside. We're like, we need help. And we're like hitting doors in the neighborhood and trying to get people to help us. And nobody's, fucking nobody's coming. That's not, nobody's, again, it's Chicago, for Christ's sake. Literally, it's like, well, football season's over. Well, let's all slap our wives around for a month before baseball starts. Like, seriously. Before spring training, before pitchers and catchers report, it's fucking 10 degrees outside. Let's take a poke at our wives for a while. Back in the 70s, now I'm sure it's a wonderful place. But back then, where I grew up anyway, my dad was, into a fucking, he slept in a bottle of early times. So, of course, what was going to happen afterwards is he was going to, fucking slap my mom around. Whatever. Why did I even go into this? Jesus Christ. I was like, this is going to be a lighthearted, fun show. How did I steer into that? But because Glenn, like I said, when he was reading the thing, like I recognized that thing where you don't get over it. Fuck, this is crazy. All right, so so maybe that's why Glenn decided to eat acid and forget who he was. You know what? I can't blame him. Maybe he really wanted to forget who he was. Maybe his friends did him a disservice. Maybe they should have taken that lifeline away and not tethered him to the real world and let him slip off into somewhere where he was better or wasn't the guy who had brothers who were fucking jagoffs to him. Maybe the other world would be better. Let him go. We should have fucking let him go, man. We should have let him be Pink. That's the thing. Is it's like in Pink Floyd The Wall. There's Pink he's a normal guy in the beginning, and then all of a sudden he just starts to fucking slip away, and then he creates this complete other world for himself. And maybe that's what we should have let Glenn do, for Christ's sake. And he came dangerously close to doing it because he. So anyway, Glenn for a while, he was. When I got my first job and I got like a ton of money, it was great. By a ton of money, I mean like I had money for the first time in my life. Well, Christmas came and I bought Christmas gifts for everybody. Like I bought a ton of Christmas gifts for my little brothers and my mom, and I was all excited to spend all my money on Christmas gifts. And one of the things I bought Glenn was Pink Floyd The Wall, the movie. Okay, because he loved the movie and he would go see it at the midnight movies, and but he also listened to the album nonstop. Like, and I mean non-stop. Like you would go in his room and it was playing. He would play it to go to sleep. He would play it in the morning. He was obsessed with the album. So I was, in my wisdom, I was like, well, why don't I get him the movie? Because then he could go ahead and watch the movie all the time, and then it goes along with him listening to the album, and that's great. So I got him the tape, like the VCR tape of it. And when he opened it, his face was he was so happy because it meant, he had friends who had it, but then obviously he would have to leave those friends' houses eventually and come to our house, which was Pink Floyd The Wall-less. I mean, we didn't have the video. So then when I gave it to him, he was like, oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much. And so he started to watch that like on a loop. Like he would watch it all the time at the house. And I'm jumping ages here. I should tell you, when I told you the story about when we were living together, 26 and 23. Well, this happened when I was like 17. When I wound up buying him the tape, so he was 14. I get Glenn his VCR tape, and he's watching Pink Floyd The Wall all the time, and then he kind of starts dressing like Bob Geldof in the movie, like he's really into it, and it's like, and who cares? We're all kids. I mean, I loved Kiss, and I put on Kiss makeup, and I'm an idiot, and I Kiss shirts and all that. But I also still liked football, and I liked other things. Glenn didn't care so much about that. Glenn, Pink Floyd The Wall was Glenn's football and his baseball and his Super Bowl, and then he would like be watching the movie, but also listening to the album at the same time. And I was starting to wonder if he was syncing it up, like trying to make it match. And because you'd knock and he wouldn't answer. It would just be playing in there. It was like, all right, well, and he'd disappear for a while. And if he wasn't with his friends, because again, he's 14. What the fuck? That's what's supposed to happen. And then, but again, here's how much of a jagoff I am. We'd still see him at dinner. You'd see him in the house, and of course, I'm going to bust his balls because I'm an idiot. So like literally, he would come to dinner and we'd go, "Hey, you, where you been all day?" Because that's a song from Pink Floyd The Wall. And he'd be like, "What?" And we'd go, "Yeah, is there anybody out there? Hey, you listening to us?" Like, I would be mocking him with lyrics from the album because I'm a very, very kind man. Because again, I just thought he loved it, So it's just like when he would wear, brown shorts all the time, and I'd call him Chuckles McBrown shorts for an entire summer. I was just like, oh, he likes that? Well, I'm going to make fun of him. So, but I'm not realizing that he's, really into it. Like, because here's what should have been my tip-off. When I'm making fun of him or making fun of it, he's not getting mad and going like, "Oh, fuck you," or he's just like completely silent and staring at me. Like he's just giving me just like I'll say something and he'll just be like, mm-hmm. And like I can't do him any harm anymore. He's in his bubble. I don't know what the fuck. So I'm like, didn't stop me. I kept trying to make fun of him, but it was completely bouncing off of him. So I'm in school one day, and my mom comes to get me. Which is believe me, my mom showing up at the school is devastating. I don't want her anywhere near. She can't be within 400 feet. I should have gotten a restraining order against my mom to keep her away from the high school just so she wouldn't talk to any of my teachers about what the fuck was going on, because I was not a good guy. This is my second senior year, all right? So she already knows I'm a fuck up because I'm there for the second time around. So she comes to get me, and the office calls me, and they tell me, you got to leave with your mom. I'm like, all right. So we go walking out now, and it's so funny. My mom's in the office. And in there is this is before all the shit hit the fan with where I got suspended and Ronald Reagan and so I'm still pretty well known in the office. So when I show up, I'm praying nobody says anything about the evil shit I've done in school, and then we've got to walk through the school to her car, which is this weird gauntlet of me keeping my head on a swivel to make sure she doesn't run into Mr. Orlock to find out that I haven't been to creative writing class the entire semester. I mean, it's just this weird thing of like I'm trying to smuggle my mom out. Like I'm trying to maintain a distance so people don't think I'm with this older woman, because then they'll know it's my mom and they'll want to talk to her. Anyway, so we get out to the car. My mom's grim-faced, so I know something's up. And I go, what's wrong? And she goes, your brother's going into the hospital. And I said, what happened? Which brother? And she said, Glenn. She said, you have to go home. You have to be there when Andy and Scott get home. But yeah, he's already there, and I have to go and finish checking him in and doing. I go, well, what happened? She goes, he's fine, but he needs to go to the hospital now, and I have to check. Like she's kind of just repeating herself. And finally, I go, Ma, what happened to Glenn? And she's like, he's going to rehab. All right, and I'm putting him in today, and he has to go right now. So I didn't even ask any questions. I'm like, all right. And then we're driving. It's quiet. And she says, you know that movie that he keeps watching? And I go, yeah. And she says, I think it kind of fucked him up. And I'm like, what? And she tells me that he was home because he was home from school, and she was in the yard. And he came downstairs, and he had shaved all of his hair off. He comes into the yard. He had shaved his eyebrows off. He had shaved his head. And And my mom looked at him and she's like, "What the fuck? What did you do?" And he's like, "What?" And then my mom's, so she tells me this, and she's like, I called Mark, and we have to take him to the hospital. She goes, and then I went in his room, and then I realized we had to go, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't even know what the fuck's going on in his room. So she comes home, she just drops me off. She goes, all right, we'll go in, and I'll be home, and just be here. So I go in the house, and I'm still kind of fucking processing what's going on. My brother's gone, he's in the hospital. My mom, she has to go take care of it. So then it dawns on me, I'm like, well, fuck, what could he possibly have done to his room? So, because he had a bunch of, he had posters and all that kind of stuff. And I go into his room, and there's a scene in Pink Floyd The Wall where after this, there's a song called One of My Turns where Pink goes crazy and he destroys a hotel room, like completely trashes it. And then he puts it all back together. He basically reconstructs the room out of all of the shards and destruction that he wound up leaving in his path. That's what my brother did in his room. Wow. My brother had smashed all the mirrors and put them all back together, like all the slivers. Just trashed, like broken chairs, and then he had destroyed his room, torn his posters, and then like reassembled them, and yeah, he just trashed his room but rebuilt it just like Pink. And had shaved off all his hair and his eyebrows and stuff. And I don't know if I mentioned this. I bought him the movie for Christmas. So I thought I was doing this great thing. I was all excited. I was like, oh man, it's he loves it, and because also I'll tell you this, I love the movie and I love the album. I mean it's crazy. I still have my eyebrows. But when I walked into his room, dude, I mean, it was right down to the broken television set with the soda can in the middle of it. He had even done that. Like, I mean, it was crazy to see. I mean, because it looked fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then I'm like, he's in the hospital. What the hell? And luckily, again, everything's fine now. Okay, I mean, everything is perfect. But and it's so funny. I often wonder, because again, he's well adjusted. He's got kids and a wife, and everything's cool. But I wonder if he still watches Pink Floyd The Wall. Like, if he still has the same love for it. I wonder what it means to him, because to me, it's fantastic. But I have to admit, man, I mean, I still, when I watch the movie or I hear the album, I think of walking into his room and seeing his room and think of him with no eyebrows. I mean, it's crazy. But I wonder if he just goes, oh, well, that was just a youthful transgression. Or does he look at it and go, yeah, I was fucking nuts, man. What the hell? But it's good to know that even whether I was being mean to him and making him eat a mean sandwich or being nice to him and giving him a movie, I still fucked him up. No matter what, I couldn't win. No matter, I was trying to get back at his good graces and I wound up fucking thing up even worse. Ugh. That's the story of my life. I literally, whether I'm being a fucking jagoff or being a nice guy, I still wind up fucking everything up. And I can tell you these moments of crazy have been brought to you by Emily G, Sarah L, Amity A, and Paul W. They went ahead, they sponsored that segment of crazy. All right. I'm excited about your apartment, man. I want to come back here tomorrow because when I was coming in, I was downstairs. You saw that they're filming here tomorrow, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Entourage is filming here in Karen in Lily's building, and I want to know what happens on the show that Vince hints to Skid so badly he has to move into this building. I can't wait for that plot twist. I don't know. Maybe they finally they decide they can't be friends with Turtle anymore, and they kick him out of the Entourage, or drama because he lost his television show, and they have to move into the worst building in Hollywood. It's got to be that, right? That's the only way they'd be here, because that's a show all about being rich and filming at like fancy places. The only reason they're filming here is because something terribly wrong has happened. I can only hope there's some sort of weird shootout on Entourage, and drama is killed buying drugs in this building. I got to show up tomorrow and see that. That'll be fun. I'm gonna limp here too. By the way, can you hear my voice there? I moved my head. That was strange. Folks, my mouth used to be a fixer-upper. My mouth used to be a problem. We've talked about this, and then I went to the dentist, and everything's been fixed. It has now been transferred to my foot, my left foot. Seriously, my left foot, because it right now it looks like it's been through a wood chipper. I'm not gonna lie to you, folks. I might have told you I broke my left toe like 4 months ago or whatever. Remember? And what are we doing?
I want to see it.
What, my toe?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not broken. That's what I'll tell you. I'm not taking, first of all, you're not seeing it. Second of all, I thought I broke it again the other day because I was walking. I broke it like 4 months ago, and I didn't go to see the doctor because what's he going to say? You broke your toe and stay off it. But the other day, man, I was walking, and it was my fault because I was walking like a child in my house barefoot. Instead of picking my feet up, I was sliding them on the rug. You know how you do that? All right, and it's like you're skiing, but you're skiing on your rug. I do that sometimes in my house because it feels good on your feet. So I was skiing barefoot in my house, and I was skiing, and then wham, I kicked my ottoman. I didn't mean to, but I skied right into my ottoman. So I fucking Sonny Bono'd my foot. It was horrible. I just fucking skied it right into the goddamn ottoman, and I thought I broke my two toes. I thought I re-broke my small toe, and then the toe next to it, and because it was that weird. It's funny. There's a running bit on Family Guy where like Peter will hit his knee and he'll go, like for like a minute, for literally 60 seconds. I did that in my house. I was like, that thing where and then you're trying to hold your foot, but you can't even touch it because it's still on fire from the pain. Oh man. And I'm just like, oh, why did I bone on my foot? It's fucking terrible. So, and I pick it up and already it is immediately like black and blue and swelling. And I'm like, I broke two toes. Unreal. So that happened, and then I'm limping. This happened last week. What was it, Thursday? So then I'm limping, but it turns out the toe's not broken because it was better. Jesus Christ! I just sat up and like moved my headset. I don't know if they'll hear it. I can hear it in my head. You sure? God damn it, that sounded awful in my head. So now like my foot still hurts, and they're black and blue, and the nail fell off one of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, oh sure, that's fantastic. But then, all right, here's why I'm in such pain and why it looks really bad now. I get ingrown toenails sometimes in my big toes, not in my other toes, but in my big toes, and I know when they're happening. So when that happens, folks, you go to the doctor and then they take care of it, right? Wrong. What you do is you do meatball surgery at your house. So I had the key though is to finding it before it becomes a crazy problem, like because what you ideally want to do is you want to be able to do it with just a nail clipper and not have to involve a steak knife or a spoon. Because what it is you'll have to. I do. This is what I do. I'll get ingrown toenails all the time, and I will have to. You have to dig into your fucking skin. You have to, and you have to fucking bend it back. And so, like, you can't do it with the clipper. You know what you want to do. So if it's real bad, you've got to do it with, like I said, like a steak knife, and you bend it back and then use the clipper to hammer it off. And so that happened this morning. And it was just, oh my god, dude. So now I'm limping on my foot, and there's this huge hole. It's like I don't even know why I'm even telling you this. It's just, oh my god, you know why? Because it hurts. Like it's throbbing, and I'm like, oh, I'll get through this. It's like, no, you won't, stupid. Because then it's just triage. Because then Karen will, I've done it before, and then go on to bed. Like going to sleep, and then I'll wake up and I'll take a shower and I'll get dressed, and then Karen will go to make the bed, and it looks like a midwife showed up, and it's we delivered a baby because there's so much blood from my foot. That only happened once, and then I was like, all right, well, I got to start wearing a sock. But dude, is there anything worse than wearing socks to bed? No, there's nothing worse. I just saw this week there was like a fleshbot.com. They do this. They'll have like the top 10 amateur sex clips or whatever. They had the top 10 amateur wearing sock sex clips, and I'm like, that is an anti-top 10. There is no way you can be. I told you, hell, I get undressed to hit the bathroom. I told you last week. I don't want one shred. Well, let's put it this way. If you're having sex, like I'll do I'll fuck with my jeans on, you know what I mean, and just go just go unzip and do that. That's fine. That's you can do that quick. But if I'm in bed, like dude, if you have your socks on and you're ever getting like romantic, stop. Just stop. Immediately take your socks off or don't get laid. You got to make a choice at that point. All right? Never get laid with wearing just your socks. Don't. It is the least attractive, right out of a 1970s movie, horrible sex, bad, Archie Bunker, separate beds, white trash, white bread, crazy yellow Franco-American gravy in a can thing you could ever do in your fucking life. It is horrible. It is SpaghettiOs sex. Just stop it. It is complete and utter processed, pressed fucking olive loaf sex. Take your goddamn socks off. Have some respect for you and your sex partner, okay? Don't even jerk off wearing just a sock unless that sock's on your cock. Honestly, the only time you should be wearing a sock during sex is if you're beating off into it. Do not have sex wearing socks unless you're all fully dressed. Like if you're in a parking lot somewhere and you're still wearing clothes, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But dude, if you're home in bed and you're going to get laid, because it strikes me as the most horrible by the numbers, seriously missionary position, woman, legs in the air, filing her nails, you leaning forward on your elbows, kissing her neck, thrust, 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 shoot, roll over, and go to bed sex you could ever possibly have. Why are you wearing socks while you're having sex? In case you're interrupted by an earthquake and you need to sprint outside and you want to make sure your feet are protected? Well, it doesn't matter. You're still running around with a goddamn heart on. Dude, take your socks off to have sex. All right. And that message was brought to you by Greg N. from Australia, Mark S., Robert L., and Gabe M. Those 4 people have insisted that I tell you not to wear socks while you're having sex. And quite frankly, I can't blame them. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. M. Jeffrey B. also has decided to get in on that little message. It is just not acceptable to wear socks in bed, folks. Only, like I said, only if you're bleeding. I guess, as I bring to you, only if you're bleeding. Although, all right, it is acceptable to wear socks. All right, here's the one time I had to wear socks in bed. Like I made myself wear them. It's funny, I thought of this story last week when I told the story. We all remember the story I told last week about my wife's boss and her special proclivities that she was not excited about being reminded about. So I told Karen that I told that story, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe you told that story." I said, "Yeah, well, nobody we know listens, so don't worry about it. Doesn't matter." She goes, "Well, did you tell this story?" And I said, "What story?" And then she reminded me of something that I forgot about. So my wife, like I said, when she house sat for Amy, she used her cutting board and fucked it up. And there was Karen, and it was funny when I told Karen the story. Karen goes, "Did you tell them also that I made jambalaya for them?" Because I forgot about that. When Karen I said she made jambalaya, she actually made a batch for them and left it in their fridge so when they came home from vacation, they would have a cool thing to eat, and she put a little note on it and stuff. And all they took from that was, "You fucked up my cutting board." So she's like, "I can't believe you didn't mention that part of it." So she had a house sit. The reason she house sat for Amy is because she had house sat for another woman at her work before that, and Amy had heard about it and said, "Oh, why don't you house sit for me?" Well, when Karen house sat for this other woman, she actually had to stay overnight at this person's house because this person had a dog who was scared of being alone. And so overnight, she'd be alone during the day, but then Karen would have to Karen would go there after work and stay in this person's house. And I can't say this person's name because, let's call this person Donna, okay? Just in case. But I'm going to say the dog's name, which is crazy. The dog's name was Tess. So Tess was a tiny little doggy, like not a poodle, but a pug. And I don't think there's such a thing as a teacup pug, but it was like a small pug. And just as ugly as the name would allow you to think. Just that like that kind of face where it's like constantly making that noise and trying to breathe out its eyes. I mean, it just like fucking it was the kind of dog that looked like it had repeatedly run into the dog door trying to leave, and had its face completely mashed in. Like it was actually curved, like it was shaped like a shovel. So she had to go stay over there and feed Tess and be with Tess and be friendly to Tess, and I stayed in our house. And then finally, it came the weekend, and it was Friday, and Karen goes, "Why don't you come and stay over here?" I said, "I don't want to stay. That's creepy. Like, I don't want to stay in her house." And like, I go, "Where do you sleep?" She goes, "Well, I sleep in the bed." And I go, that's even weirder. I can't like sleep in somebody's bed. That's fucking weird. She goes, "Come on, please. You know, you got to stay. We'll just stay Friday. You don't have to stay Saturday, whatever." I said, all right. So we went out that night, but we couldn't be out very late because we had to be there for the dog. That was the whole point. Dog was scared of the dark and didn't like being alone. So Tess was afraid of being alone in the dark. So we show up, and I meet Tess, and Tess won't leave me alone. Like, right when I walk in the doors, Tess lopes over to me and starts biting my pants, like biting my pant leg. And Donna had told Karen that Tess wasn't familiar with men. Okay. And so I think I was just this weird curiosity. Like, she had no idea because Donna didn't have a lot of guys over. Like, she had decided that apparently Tess was going to be more important than any sort of romantic relationship. I don't look. I'm not speculating on Donna, but maybe there's a reason I'm not saying her name. All right, so I walk in, and Tess immediately starts like biting my shoes and biting my pants and being very frisky around me, like kind of jumping on me and stuff. And so I go sit down, and I think we all know, look, I don't like dog spit. I don't like dogs, period. I like dogs. Dogs are cool, but at a certain point, you got to be able to tell that dog to get the fuck away from you, right?
Yeah.
So, but so I sit down on the couch, and immediately Tess goes, and Tess is not allowed on the couch. But right when I sit down, Tess jumps on the couch, and it's like jumping on me, and Karen's like, "No, Tess, you got to come down." And so we keep putting her down on the ground, and she keeps jumping back up on the. She won't leave me alone, smelling me, licking me, sniffing me, jumping on me, crazy. So finally, we put her in like another room. She has like a little doggy playroom. So we put her in there and put a gate up so she's in there. But she starts crying the whole time. She's all sad. And Karen is cooking dinner, ruining another cutting board. And we're hanging out in the house. And Tess just keeps kind of pacing back and forth like Darth Maul. I mean, just like pacing. Can't wait to get at me. So she finally stops making noise. And she, I guess, lays down or whatever. I think because when I'm not there, she's quiet. So I assume she's laying down. But whenever I come into the room to get a drink or anything, immediately up, she starts whimpering and really wants to be my friend. So I said to Karen, I go, "This is driving me crazy." I go, I can't be here. She's going to cry the whole time when she sees me. She goes, "Well, just stay out of her way. Stay out of sight." I'm like, "Well, now I'm a ninja. Like, I got to dress up in a fucking black outfit and hide from this goddamn dog." I go, "Look, it's not a problem. Just let her out. This is her house. I hate having her trapped. It's stupid. Let her out." So she comes right over to me, and she keeps biting my pants. That was the weird thing, and she's like biting my little pant leg. It was so odd. Like, I was like, "Hey, look at me." So, and she was totally cute, except for the pug face. You know what I mean? A little tiny dog with that fucking like that weird breathing. Like, I can't even. Oh, just crazy. So I wind up petting her, and I'm petting her, and I'm being nice, and we're watching TV, and I'm petting her, and she's calming down, but she won't leave my feet. Like, she's just right there at my feet. So we go to finally it's time for bed, and we go into the bedroom, and Tess comes into the bedroom, and I go, "Well, do we have to put her in the little house? How does it?" And she goes, "Tess sleeps in the bed." I go, "No, that's not right, right?" And she goes, "No, Tess, that's one of the reasons Donna has me here is like Tess, she feels better sleeping in the bed with a person. It's like she has to be close to." I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" I go, "Seriously, let me ask you, does Tess own this house? Like, are we house sitting for Tess? This is true, right? Like, Donna just pays the bills, and Tess lives here, and Donna lives at an off-site location? Is that what it is?" She's like, "Look, what do you want me to do?" I go, "That's why." She goes, "That's why I have to stay over, because the dog is scared of the dark and has to sleep in the bed with me." And I said, "Well, I'll just sleep on the couch." She goes, "No, you can't sleep on the couch." I said, "Well, no, she doesn't want me in here. Like, it'll be crowded." I go, "If she needs one person in the bed with her, then you be that person, and I'll go sleep on the goddamn couch." Karen's like, "Oh, all right, I guess so." So I said, "Okay." So I go out to go sleep on the couch. Right when I leave the room, Tess comes with me. Like, she's not even messing around. So I go to get on the couch, and I start to get everything kind of, I'm just going to sleep and lay there. And Tess jumps on the couch and won't get off the couch. and she's biting my pant leg, and I go, oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell? And Karen comes out, and she's like, Tess, come on, and she tries to call her into the bedroom. She won't leave me. She wants nothing to do with Karen or being without me at this point. So I said, all right. I go, fuck this. I go, look, I'll just sleep in the bed. We'll sleep in the bed. She'll relax. Everything will be fine. Why break her routine? It works fine. So I get in the bed, and look, all right, I don't wear any clothes when I go to sleep. Okay, I got to tell you that. That's who I am. I don't have pajamas. I'm not fucking winking, blinking, and nod. I don't have a goddamn stocking cap with a ball on the end of it. I sleep, as Richard Drivers would say, I sleep in the nude. A buffo. That's from Goodbye Girl. Rent it. So, but however, when I'm at somebody else's house who I've never met, and I'm going to sleep in their bed, I'm not going to sleep in the nude. It's ridiculous and horrible, I think. So I go ahead and I'm like, well, fuck this. I'll sleep in underwear and a shirt. I'll wear my shirt, I'll wear my boxer briefs, and we'll go to sleep. So I should also tell you this. At my house, in addition to being nude, again, I'm a weird dude, folks. I have to sleep on the left-hand side with Karen on my right-hand side. I don't know why. Just that's always been the way it is. I'm sure married people know what I'm talking about. You establish your sides of the bed, and that's the way they are until the grave. And in the grave, I'm going to have to be buried in a tandem coffin with a mannequin next to me on my right-hand side so I can comfortably sleep for all eternity. I don't know why, but that's who I am as a guy. So unfortunately, on this night, Karen has to sleep on the left-hand side, which is where I would normally sleep, because the phone is over there, and in case Donna calls in the middle of the night, apparently, to say goodnight to Tess? I don't know what the fuck she'd be calling for, but she's going to give us a call, and if she does, Karen has to answer it, because she probably doesn't want to hear me in the middle of the night go, oh, she has no interest in hearing my voice. So I'm completely out of my element. I'm in a weird house, I'm on the wrong side of the bed, and now I'm going to have to sleep with my wife and a creature that I got no fucking I don't even want a pet, but won't stop biting my pants. Jesus. Look, I've slept with a lot of people that didn't want to stop biting my pants. But never one with four legs. So we get in bed. I'm on my wrong side, and I'm on the left hand. And we right when we lay down, Tess is in bed and under the covers, and I just hear that horrible breathing. And then Tess starts to crawl up from the foot of the bed. And doesn't just like stand up and walk like a normal dog or person would. No, she slithers on her belly like a snake. And the whole time I'm horrified again because I'm just looking at the lump in the covers as it moves kind of side to side. So I'm thinking there's a fucking cobra underneath the goddamn bed. And all I hear is until she gets to the top of the covers and pops her little head out and emerges, and then she walks the rest of the way to where she gets finally up on the pillows between me and Karen, our heads, and she turns around twice, like spins around, and then plump, just plops down with her ass right in my face. So now she's in the bed, fine, and I thought it was weird that she'd be at the foot of the bed, but I think it's a little weird the fact that now she's basically sitting ass first on my face. And I'll also be honest with you, that's preferable to having her facing me, because if she turns around, it's and then I'm just staring into those black eyes as the horrible breath hits me in the face. I think I'd rather go face to ass at this point with this goddamn dog. So she starts breathing, and I go, Karen, because Karen's got her back to me, and I feel like a child now. Like, I want to drink of water in the middle of the night. And I'm just like, Karen. And Karen goes, what, huh? And she turns around and goes, oh, Tess, ha. And she thinks it's funny. And I'm like, no, it's not funny. I'm getting the ass face from the goddamn dog. Get it the fuck out of here. So, and again, it's midnight. Why am I even bedded? Why am I here? That's the whole point. It's like midnight. I'm in a strange bed. I'm trying to sleep. I'm on the wrong side. There's a goddamn creature with its ass in my face. Oh, Christ. So I'm laying there. And Karen goes, oh, come on, Tess. Come on. No, Tess, go down, Tess. And she's trying to, like, coax the dog or coerce it to go to the bottom of the fucking bed. Dude, it's a fucking dog. Move it. Pick it up and move it, okay? Dogs are furniture that breathes. That's all they are. Fucking pick it up and move it. You don't have to we don't need to have a goddamn discussion with the dog to get it to the foot of the bed. It's lucky it's in the bed. For Christ's sake, it's lucky we're even feeding the fucking thing. This stupid thing, the second it walks outside, a falcon's going to pick it up and take it away and eat it. It's that small and fragile, but no, it runs the goddamn house. So Karen's like, come on, Tess, come on. And she's trying to get her to the bottom of the bed. And I'm like, fucking pick her up and move her. Karen goes, no, it's okay. So she finally gets her to walk down to the end of the bed. And then what Karen's brilliant suggestion is, she takes a pillow and she jams it between us halfway down the bed. So now it's between Karen and I, and it's also blocking Tess from coming up from the bottom of the bed. It's like a drawbridge. So basically, I'm sleeping in Tetris is what I'm doing, because I've got to coerce my body around the dog and the cushion, and Karen's got to get her body around the cushion, and then the dog can't come up, and we're wedged into this fucking weird, uncomfortable position in our bed. I can't even believe that I made it to sleep. But I'm laying there, just staring at the window, because there's not a window in my house, in my bedroom. It's all awkward. And as I just lay there, I will. Oh, all right, Karen's gonna be mad here. Karen snores. Okay, so Karen starts to drift off to sleep, and as she's drifting off to sleep, I can hear her kind of snoring, kind of gently, like little. It starts, but I hear that, and then I hear. I'm like, oh, what's happening? I mean, and I'm the kind of guy. Right now I need a fan on to sleep. Like I need white noise to sleep. And I mean, I guess this is kind of like a version of white noise, but it's too rhythmic because I'm getting the snoring and then the. It's like, I'm sleeping in Bill Cosby himself. That's what it is. You ever hear when Bill Cosby's talking about the woman having the baby? He's like, push, push. That's what I'm trying to sleep with. It's weird. It's like all these weird noises. You know what it is? It's like sleeping in Fantasia. Like when the brooms start making that noise and everything. Oh, God. So I finally, somehow, I get to sleep. Tetris body cut, and dog, everything. I drift off. I don't know how long I sleep. It's got to be a few hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. I wake up in the middle of the night. Not with a start. I just kind of gently wake up, and I'm like, huh? And you know when you wake up in the middle of the night, you still have that vague feeling that something is weird. You don't know what it is. Like you can't figure out if maybe you're just waking up naked and you realize that your boyfriend's brother is at the foot of the bed staring at you. You know, that kind of awkward feeling. So I wake up, and there's weird shadows in the room because it's like, the light is coming through the windows at different angles, and I'm in a weird house. I'm not even on my side of the bed, and I'm kind of groggy. I wake up and I realize the cushion's there, but something else is wrong, and I can't place it. I can't figure out what it is. And all of a sudden, as I come to, I start to look, and I hear the breathing. And I go, oh fuck, that's what it is. But then I feel something, and I'm like, oh no, that's kind of strange. So I pull the covers back, and I lower the drawbridge, and I look down at Tess, and Tess is at the foot of the bed and breathing and sleeping with my big toe in her mouth. Because I'm on my left-hand side, and I've got my right leg kind of cranked up, and she has laid down. Now she's completely flat on her belly with her mouth completely covering my big toe. Not biting it, not chewing it. It's just in her mouth, like a child with a thumb. And through it all, even with my big toe jammed in her tiny pie-hole pug face mouth, I hear it. And it's blowing on my foot. That's what woke me up. Hot breath on my foot woke me up as she shrimped my toe into some crazy doggy dream sleep. And look, I'm familiar with midnight dog rape, okay? I've had this happen to me before. I told a story in year 2 where I woke up where a dog was fucking my shin like it was the most beautiful dog it had ever seen in its life. Frito the Chihuahua had kind of climbed around my leg and was banging the shit out of my leg. So that was scary. This is just kind of like, oh no! And when Frito did it, I was like, ah. Well, I don't get that crazy here, but I'm just kind of like, like but I'm quiet, but I'm scared, and I don't know how to react, and my face is just frozen. It's like you know what? I look like the face of the guy on the poster for Pink Floyd The Wall. You ever see the poster for it? Fuck yeah. I look like, it's like the poster, and the guy's just like, yeah! He's screaming, and his face comes out of the wall. My face is frozen in the silent scream in the face on the poster for Pink Floyd The Wall. And I immediately go, Karen, Karen, because I don't want to make a weird movement. Because isn't there like a rule like you don't wake up sleepwalkers and you don't wake up dogs? Like I don't know, isn't it? Don't they die? I don't know if they die. I have no idea what's going to happen. And also, I don't want to make any fast movements because what if she's dreaming about like a giant like T-bone and she fucking bites my big toe off? So I don't know what to do. So I'm just frozen and I reach over with my hand and I'm like, Karen, and she wakes up, and I'm like, Karen, don't move, Karen. And she wakes up. She's like, what? And I go, look. And she has to rub her face and grab her glasses. So it takes 30 seconds more of torture with my toe in a dog's mouth. And she rolls over. And I pull the covers back and I go, look. And she sees that Tess is down there completely flat-bellied with my toe in her mouth. And Karen goes, "Oh." I'm like, no, not aw. No, that's not cute. That's terrible. We can't have this. That's awful. And Karen's like, well, what do you do? And I go, I don't know what to do. We're not supposed to wake a dog up, right? She goes, what? Yeah, you can wake a dog up. And I go, well, I don't want to just yank it out. And she goes, well, hold on. And so she goes down and she's like, Tess. And she's like trying to like wake her up and call her up to the foot of the bed. I don't know what the strategy was. It didn't work. That's all I know. So finally, I just go, look, it's a fucking dog. It's furniture that breathes. Just shove it with your foot. Boot it. I don't care at this point. You distract it. When it looks the other way, I'll yank my toe out of its mouth. So Karen goes, no, it's okay. And so she kind of gently goes down and just breath on my foot and toe getting worked. And I'm like, oh, terrible. And so finally Karen goes down and kind of gently wakes her up. And then when she does it, I just yank. I slide my foot, not yank because I don't know. I don't want to catch it on a fang, but I slide it out as gently as I can and as fast as I can, as fast gently as you can do something. I do it. And I pop my toe out of her mouth. I'm surprised it didn't go, like that, make that noise. But I did. I got my toe out of her mouth, and Tess is just like, and I look down. So now I look down, and I got a wet toe, and all I see are glowing eyes at the foot of the bed. Oh, horrible. And I immediately go, all right, I'm going on the fucking couch, if not going home. And Karen's like, no, just put your socks on. And I think we've all established, I hate socks in bed, but honestly, if it's going to keep this dog from working my toe, I figured I had to do it. So sure enough, I did. So I went ahead and I put on socks and I slept. And that's when it's acceptable to have socks. And it's funny. It strikes me that this is long. All right, but I have to tell. There's more of this. But I will tell you that this story of Midnight Dog Rape was brought to you by Lawrence S., Brian L., Edward K., and James D. So thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that, Lawrence, Brian, Edward, and James. Thank you for your bringing the tale of Midnight Dog Rape to America.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, Pod Gods. Finally, two men who bring professionalism to podcasting.
Parker, I thought their main problem was they weren't funny, that show.
Yeah, I didn't laugh. I laughed
Get off the couch.
sometimes, but most of the jokes were very.
Marconi, get off the
They
couch.
were very juvenile. Don't you think? They were juvenile.
Get off the couch. Marconi, Yeah, I heard you. I agree. You're right. It's just, some people just don't know what they're doing. Get off the couch. Marconi, stop.
Is that
You there, Parker?
Is it? Hey, Marconi. Marconi's a good girl.
Can you get him off the couch?
Good girl.
Attention, podcasters, step up your game, or you'll hear it from the Pod Gods on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Who's a good girl?
Are we still recording?
So that's just Friday. I'm supposed to stay there Saturday night with Karen, too. And I go, look, Karen, I don't think I can stay here Saturday night. She's like, oh, my God, please, you've got to stay with me. It is so boring. And I'm like, what do you mean it's boring? You and Tess seem to get along fine. Although now that I've been here and I won't be here, I'm sure Tess will just be staring at the door wondering where I went. So maybe it'll be okay for you. She'll leave you alone because she'll be pining for me. Karen's like, come on, you got to stay with me. She goes, you know what? If you stay with me, I'll make it worth your while. I'm like, look, I don't know what that means, but okay. So Saturday night I show up at the house and Tess greets me right at the door. Tess follows me to the couch, and not as jumpy this time. She's not like all over me. It's still kind of biting out of my pants and my shoelaces, but always underfoot, but always with me. Like, you know, I feel like Buster Brown, quite frankly, because the dog is never more than a foot away from me. Wherever I go, we go to eat dinner. I sit at the table. She sits right at my feet, constantly with me the whole time. So, comes time for the bedroom circus again, and I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. I know the drill. I'm wearing socks. We go to get in the bed. I go, look, we got to build the drawbridge and all that. And Karen's like, okay. So she grabs the cushion and we get in bed. And again, it's like 11:30 on a Saturday. We're just old people at this point, just to make Tess comfortable and make her feel good about her new friends. Oh, terrible. So we go to get in bed, and I get in bed, and Karen turns the lights out. She gets in bed. Tess is in bed. And Karen turns over to face me. And I go, well, look, we got to build the drawbridge so Tess doesn't come crawling up here and put her ass on my face. And she's like, well, we'll get to that. And Karen kind of reaches over and grabs me. And look, I'm always up for it. All right, I'll be truly honest. I don't care where the fuck we are. Like I said, I don't care if it's a parking lot. I don't care if it's in the green room at a club. I'm in. But it just seems weird to do it in the middle of the human Tetris field. Like, I don't. And so she grabs my cock, and I look at her and I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? And she goes, what? And she's kind of like being all like playful, and I'm like, no, hon, we can't do this here, because I didn't even want to be naked in this person's bed, like I'm accepting the fact that Tess is here. I'm even weirded about the fact that it's a bed, and like I said, and also I'll be honest with you. The fact that Karen's initiating and I'm on her side, I'm her. Now I'm Karen. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like, that's kind of, and look, I don't care if Karen initiates. I'm happy that it happens whenever it happens. But it just feels weird that I'm on the wrong side of the bed. It's just an awkward angle. Yeah, all of our timing's off. You guys know this. Men know what I'm talking about. So I'm just like, oh, you really want to do this? She's like, come on. And now, like, Karen's not even wasting any time. Like, I'm out. Like, it's not even like, come on. It's like, basically, she's manually starting the lawnmower at this point. And and even though even though the Tess is there and I'm in a strange bed and I'm in a wrong angle, again, folks, I'm ready. So I'm like, all right. So I kind of just forget it, and we start making out, and we're things are happening, and you're concentrating, and then all I hear, and I'm like, I go, Karen, we can't have Tess in here. We got to put her in the gated house. And she's like, all right, yeah, let's put her out. Let's put her in the gate. So Karen picks her up, and she starts crying the second Karen grabs her and takes her out of bed. And Karen puts her in the little gated house, and Karen comes back to bed, and I'm like, all right. So then we start up again, but even louder than the breathing is the crying and the yelping that Tess gives from the other room. She's just like, and these really like high pitched like yipes and whines. And I'm like, oh man, this is just. I go, Karen, we can't do this. We got to let's just put her to bed. You know what I mean? Let's just bring her in here and let's just go to sleep. Karen's like, we can just do a quickie. Let's go real fast. And I'm like, I go, honestly, yeah, all right, that's a good idea. Let's just do that. So I go and I'm about to get started on a quickie, and then she starts barking like crazy. So now I wonder if somebody's even here. I go, look, we got to see if someone's even here. So we get out of bed and we go over by her, and once we get over to the gate, she just stops, and she's looking up at us. And I go, Karen, the whole reason you're here is to take care of this dog. We need to just let this dog come to the bed. And she goes, all right. So, because I'm weirded out about even doing anything in the bedroom anyway. So we take Tess, we bring her in, we put her in the bed, and she's happy, she's breathing, we lay down. So she's at the foot of the bed, and I kind of drift off to sleep, and the drawbridge is up, and I wake up to my wife involved in an activity And I wake up, and she's like, be quiet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be quiet. Of course I'm going to be quiet. And so Tess is asleep at the foot of the bed. Like, we can hear her kind of snoring and breathing. And so we maneuver around, and we're being very careful. It's like, you know what it is? It's like I would imagine if you were trying to fuck on a raft. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying not to capsize. So I kind of shift her into one position. And again, I'm wearing socks, so we got to go missionary at this point anyway, right? And so I slide her on her back, and I've got my socks on. And then it dawns on me, I'm like, well, this would actually work better cowgirl. Like, if I'm on my back and Karen's on top, because then there's probably less chance of me kicking this dog in the face. So I lay back and I maneuver, and Karen slides off my boxer briefs, and she gets on top of me, and let the games begin. So we actually, we're doing what we're doing, and as we all know, there's a rhythm involved, and we're going, and there's a rhythm, and then it dawns on me, I'm actually in rhythm with the breathing of the dog. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if it just happened on accident, but it's like, and I'm like, yeah, all right, this is working. And it's like the dog's a metronome. The dog's actually coming in handy at this point, helping my timing, helping everybody stay on point. And I'm like, all right, this is working. So, we're going at it. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing the dog, and I'm hearing, and it continues. We're moving, we're going, the grinding, the moving, and everything, the dog and the breathing and the the dog, my wife, and me, we're on the bed, and things are going, and then dog nose right into my taint. Boom! I wasn't noticing the breathing is rhythming and going and moving, and I'm hearing it because it's getting closer and closer and closer, because Tess is moving up the bed and finding out that she is seeing something she hasn't seen before, and wham! Hello, cold nose, right into my ball sack. And I'm just like, and so I buck up, which I'm doing anyway, but then it's like a serious one. Like, I go to throw my wife, and she's like, whoa! And I, dog breath on my balls. She's breathing. I hold Karen still, and I go, get off, get off, get off, get off! And she's like, what? And she gets off me, and it's so funny because my view is I'm laying on my back, I'm looking up at my wife, we're going at it, and then my wife gets off me, and I'm Excalibur is pulled from the stone, and all I see is it go, like, it's kind of like going, it springs out, and I just see two eyes on either side of my cock breathing right on me. Put its nose right into the action. Like, I mean, not even like observe. I don't even know, honestly, because we were going at it, and I just heard the breathing and the timing and the moving and the going, and so she could have been looking the entire time. I have no clue, but then just decided to go, you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and see what's happening right here? Nose first, like nose right into my balls and taint. Boom, and I just And then, like I said, that view when Karen got off, and then I'm there, and then there's two eyes on either side of my cock just staring right at me. And that'll teach you. That'll teach you. You know what? You can't. It's not just all about socks, folks. You need to. When there's a dog involved, you need to. You know what? I should have put. I should have put one of those. Like, you know how when a dog gets surgery and they put that cone around its neck. I should have put that around my cock and balls. Because then I can be sure that this dog's not going to get to it. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You guys can get me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Follow me on there. Or you can go to the You Guys Can Get Me at page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com and follow me and go to the links and figure out all that kind of stuff. And I can tell you that cold nose into my balls story was brought to you by Simon F., Luke B., Tim R., and Andrew I. So thanks, fellas. Thanks for letting America know about the dangers of a dog nose into your ball sack. You guys can follow Lily on twitter.com/LilyVonStupp, or you can follow twitter.com/MNTs to find out all about the longest running burlesque show in Los Angeles. And if you want to write Lily a note to ask her about her proclivity for not wearing pants, you can get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com / 40-year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease every Monday night here in Los Angeles. Again, the longest running burlesque show in Los Angeles. Our producer friend Lily Von Stupp also produces that show, as you all know, because you listen to the Burlesque podcast and all of her other wonderful outlets. Hey, Lily.
Yes.
Who's going to be at the show this week at the Monday Night Tease?
Count Smokula is hosting.
Horrendous.
We have a debut, and we have a couple of our regular girls. Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Okay, but Count Smokula will be there, and some very beautiful women will also be there. I can tell you I went to this past week's show, and that was going to be the bulk of this episode, and I never got to talk about it. So maybe next week I'll go into what happened when I was at the Monday Night Tease visiting. I was in a non-professional capacity. I was just visiting said show. But it's at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine every Monday night at 10 o'clock. Please go to the Monday Night Tease. Is there a special code word for people this week to get in?
There is.
What? Finally, we're back to code words because you're not importing talent from the overseas? So you've got, all right, folks, there's a code word. So if people get this code word, what will they get?
They will get in for $10 instead of $12.
So this will be $10 instead of $12. This will save you $2, folks, if you use the code word. And first of all, you will get these code words if you follow Lily at Twitter/MNTs or Twitter.com/MNTs. Or if you listen to the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, you will get this code word. And this code word this week is?
Smokesylvania.
Smokesylvania, which I'm sure you will have no problem remembering. By all means, pick the hardest thing, the hardest made-up word gibberish you could possibly think of, and have people try to repeat that on Monday. So looks like nobody's saving $2 this week. I got to be honest. But people, maybe that's why. Maybe you wanted to make sure they paid full price.
Well, what code word would you pick?
Well, Count Smokula is he's like a Grandpa Munster type Borscht Belt vampire. Yeah, he's from Smokesylvania, but not really. He plays an accordion. What about Squeeze Box?
Oh.
Because he plays an accordion type of
You know
thing.
what? That'll work too.
No, 2 code words?
Yes, 2
oh my
code
Christ, folks, 2 code words. Let me ask you this. If someone says Smokesylvania Squeeze Box, they get $4 off?
No.
God damn it. All right, folks, I tried to get that
I'll
for
give
you.
them a button, though.
Oh, you'll get a button. So I don't, folks,
I have Monday Night Tease buttons.
Oh, I didn't know what it meant. Too bad. That's awesome. I would have been very excited. I'd show up. Smokesylvania Squeeze Box. Where's my button? Another sentence no one's ever said in their life. Smokesylvania Squeeze Box. Where's my Transylvania 65000? All right, so I'm babbling. But yeah, so there you go. That's Lily's Monday Night Tease. Go ahead and check that out every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. I just talked right through a yawn there, fought it right off. Folks, I want to remind you about the Zazzle store, which you may have heard about. Is there a bug in here? What are you pointing at?
No, there's a spotlight on the side of the apartment.
Oh, it's a helicopter and stuff. Oh, it's funny. I didn't even get to talk about that. That happened to me. I twittered about it. That was. I'll tell you again. I'll go into that, folks. Next week when I'm not having to deal with dog breath balls. All right. I want to remind you about the Zazzle store. Go there. They have the T-shirts. For the Stripple shirts, they have the mouse pads. We have mugs and stuff like that. And who knows? There's always the threat of future merchandise. So go check out the Zazzle store. I love the fact that there's a threat that I would threaten people. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna we're gonna make more stuff. So fuck you. More stuff you won't buy. I want to remind you folks that the year 1 and year 2 download sets are available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Pick one up. That'd be great. Pick both up. If you want to pick both up, then buy the Super Angry Guy Jean Happy Good Time Yelling Combo and save yourself $10. Look, I don't even make you say Smokesel Fuck Box. I don't make you say any of that. You can just go ahead and pick up the 2 download sets for the price of $40. It's the low price. You save $10 if you buy both, folks. So go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page. And you'll be able to get to the Zazzle page for merchandise and also check out the downloads. And, folks, if you feel like it, go ahead and donate to the show. That would be great. If you go to the MikeSchmidtComedy.com, up in the upper left-hand corner of every page, there is a donate icon. You'll notice little Schmitty pulling out his empty pocket, as always. So if you click on that, you'll be able to donate to the show. And if you donate to the show, that automatically makes you a sponsor, as we may have heard during the show today. And I will tell you that right now, this plea for more donations is brought to you by Matthew R., Ryan H., Matthew R. twice, I will tell you. Matthew R. donated twice to the show. He sponsored twice. And Kurt N. from Minnesota is our good friend who also sponsored this show. And I will tell you, David Cook, the man, not the singer, from the Jagerbomb cast, he also sponsors this show. This segment for more donations came from Matthew R. twice, Ryan H., Kurt N. from Minnesota, and, of course, our friend David Cook, the man, not the singer. So if you guys want to donate to the show, you will do just that, and you will be considered sponsors. And then we will all be friends, and we can all get together for the shareholder meeting at the end of the year when everyone gets their dividend and everything pays off at the end for everyone. That is never going to happen. I want to remind you to keep checking the MikeSchmidtComedy.com page. Check the Hey What's Happening page because there will be constant updates there. The Rocky with a Blog page underway. I had a nice email exchange with this trainer person, and I think that's going to get underway this week. I have to finally to clarify times and all the stuff that we're going to do. But let's put it this way. He's still on board even after last week's craziness. But follow on Rocky because you'll hear more about it. Hey What's Happening. There will be more explosions of id coming. More fun stuff. Comic strip panels that Mex is coming up with. We're working on getting an RSS feed for the site. Oregon Kirk is on that. So once we get an RSS feed, then you guys can follow along, and you'll always know when there's nonsense about. And that seems so horrible to say. And I want to remind you again, last but not least, that in San Francisco, I will be in San Francisco August 20th and 21st. Still working on a place here in Los Angeles before then to workshop the show. There was a theater that I thought I had a lead on, and there are people I know that know the people who run that theater, and they gave me the email address, and I've written this person twice, and my contact has contacted them twice, and this person still has not gotten back to me. Apparently told my contact that there are dates available when I need them, but won't contact me. And then my contact said, again, I don't want to say names, but my contact said to me, yeah, if you haven't heard from her by Monday, you should probably just move on. Even though this person told them that there would be dates available, but they just, I guess, don't want a show. They don't want, I don't fucking know. So I was really hoping to have a theater to workshop it here in Los Angeles. And if anything, I might be doing it at the 3 of Clubs, which is a bar. But, I mean, fuck, if I got to do it, I got to do it. But mainly, we need to worry about August 20th and 21st when the tickets are already on sale at Brown Paper Tickets. There will be a link on my Facebook page and through my Twitter. You can pick up tickets now for the August 20th or 21st show, 10 o'clock Friday, Saturday night at the Darkroom Theater in San Francisco. The 40-year-old boy, success is not an option. So come on out to the show. The poster's almost done. Once the poster's done, that'll go up on the MikeSchmidtComedy.com Hey What's Happening page, and you'll be able to see that and all that stuff. And I think Lily's coming up for one of the shows, and she might be actually, I guess, performing up there as well. So maybe you come up, you make a double shot of it. You go see her on Friday, come see me on Saturday, or I don't know. We'll let you know if she's winding up doing some show up there. And everybody I've ever met is going to be up there too. All of my friends are coming, and they're all performing. What if I did that? What if there was some traveling Mike? I was like the Jim Rose circus. I just brought everybody Goebel. Everyone came up with me. I was at Goebel. You know what? It's funny. I went to Goebel's house the other day, and he just.
Did he answer?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like Paul Goebel, I knock on his door, I ring his bell a few times, and nothing. So then I call him, and he's like, "Hello." I go, "Hey, you home?" And because it's his new house, I might be at the wrong fucking address. I have no idea. And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Dude, I'm at your front door. I've been here for a few minutes." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm in the office. I didn't hear you." And he comes out, and then he gives me a tour of his house. And it's funny, his house is just, I mean, it's just not crazy action figures all over the place. All over. Every room is like nothing but action figures. And then he's got a grill. He bought a Weber grill, but it's on a pallet in the yard. He's like, "Yeah, look at that grill." And I don't know if he was hinting that he wanted me to help him carry it in the back, because I would have, but he never really expressly asked, and I'm not going to go, "Well, I'll help you carry that in the back if you want." I mean, dude, if you want me to help you, I'll help you, but he didn't say anything, and we were going to lunch anyway, so it didn't matter. So he goes, "Here, I'll show you the yard." So we got in the backyard. He got a big backyard. He's got a fucking trampoline in his backyard. And I go, "Why do you have a trampoline?" He goes, "Yeah, it's great." He goes, I hurt myself the second time on it." I go, "Yeah, because you're fucking 40. Why are you on the trampoline?" He's like, "Well, it's, my kids." And I go, "Yes, your kids, great, but why are you on it, dude? Explain that to me." Because I don't get it. It's like, look, if you're 40 years old and you're on a trampoline, there's only two reasons you should be on a trampoline if you're 40 years old. You're either in Cirque du Soleil or you're trying to win $100,000 on America's Funniest Home Videos. That's the only two reasons a 40-year-old man should be on a goddamn trampoline. Although I will say this, if any 40-year-old man can go ahead and make the most out of a trampoline, it's going to be Paul Goebel, because he's going to get on it and his hair is going to look gorgeous. That guy has the craziest windswept fucking kind of funky. It's not even funky. It's like a pompadour, but it's not. And it doesn't look like it has product in it. It looks like it's naturally grown into a perfect head of hair. I mean, it's like, because people, I Twittered a picture of me this week, and some people were like, you ought to get a haircut, Mike. And it's like, fuck that. I like my hair. I want my hair to be longer. I wish it wasn't curly, but unfortunately it curls up. Goebel doesn't have that problem. Goebel's just straight Fonzie out of the box. It looks fucking amazing. And it is actually straight Fonzie, because if you didn't know Paul Goebel and you saw his hair, you just immediately, automatically, you'd just go, hey. Because it looks fucking great. It's just like, I got a little gray and it's man, what a head of hair. It's just, even, we could be in Burbank, he and I, the Bob's Big Boy statue would turn its head and watch Paul Goebel go by, jealous of the head of hair that Paul Goebel sports. Man, I'll tell you, I guess bitterness and rage is good for your hair, because look at he and I, the two of us. We have the best hair of anybody that we know, and we're the least successful guys. That's what it is. If you get successful, your hair is fucked. But if you're not successful, boom, you're going to have fantastic hair. That's how God balances out for you. No, you've got perfect hair. Look at your beautiful hair. Oh, that means you're not successful. Damn it. God, wouldn't it be great if we were bald? That would be so perfect for both of us, because we'd have more money than we count, and we wouldn't have to spend it on fucking combs. God damn it. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.